We have some major Houston Rockets updates as Reed Sheppard is now being compared to Payton Pritchard of the Boston Celtics. And we have a huge update on the Rockets' plans for Steven Adams and Clint Capela at the center position. We'll give you all the latest Rockets news right here on Rockets Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us here on the show. And if you believe the Houston Rockets are going to be Western Conference Championship bound, then I want you to hit that subscribe button and help us out on our goal to reach 5,000 by the end of this week. It's now Friday, so we have got just 2 days left. So if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Payton Pritchard is going to have an extended role this upcoming season, obviously with the Houston Rockets not picking up any free agent guards or trading for any guards. It is going to be up to him and Fred VanVleet and Aaron Holiday to really control the point guard and shooting guard position. Now, we do know Amen Thompson is going to play a majority of the role at the shooting guard, but for Reed Sheppard purposes, he's got to be better than he was last season. And now we're getting some interesting comparisons. We got this from Sleeper Rockets, who was quoting the Rockets Wire saying, quote, "Pritchard had to prove it to earn his minutes. Same with Reed. Ime Udoka doesn't give anyone anything. If you play, it's because you earned his trust and earned that time." And now you're seeing that Reed Sheppard is being compared to Payton Pritchard of the Boston Celtics. Now, this all comes from an article written by Ben DuBose on the Rockets Wire, where he said Rockets executives, not just fans, executives view Boston's Payton Pritchard as a potential comparison for Reed Sheppard. Now, Ime Udoka, who coached in Boston, was there for a little bit of time when Payton Pritchard played there. And now we're kind of, interestingly enough, seeing the comparisons between these two because they're a little bit of an undersized guard. They were drafted in the first round, and they have very good shooting potential, but maybe need to be a little bit more aggressive in some aspects of their game. Now, that was the original report for Reed Sheppard, and he has definitely become a more aggressive approach and has developed into a really good player over there in Boston. And so that's kind of where we go to this report and look overall at what exactly the comparison is with the Houston Rockets and Payton Pritchard being, such an interesting comparison for this. Here is the article quote where we go Ben DuBose of Rockets Wire saying, quote, "Once upon a time, Payton Pritchard was a young and undersized guard who struggled to get consistent playing time on the Boston Celtics. While always a respected shooter, he needed to improve defensively and become more of an all-around player to earn regular minutes from coaches such as Ime Udoka," end quote. Okay, so Payton Pritchard struggled early. That remind you of anybody maybe? Maybe a Reed Sheppard, who in his first season in the NBA only had 4.4 points per game. Now, granted, he was not a consistent player. In fact, barely a role player on this team. He was more of a garbage time. But whenever he did come out there and start, he played relatively well. But definitely for a round one, pick 3 guy, you expect a little bit more out of Reed Sheppard. But maybe that's what we could see coming as Payton Pritchard certainly jumped up. Now, we do have to kind of continue on this report before I get to the kind of stats comparison, but Ben DuBose of Rockets Wire once again saying, quote, "By his 4th season, Pritchard became a rotational fixture for the 2024 NBA champions. In his 5th season of the 2024-2025 season, he went on to win the league's 6th Man of the Year award," end quote. Now, if I'm looking forward for the Houston Rockets and what their roster will look like, Fred VanVleet is on a more team-friendly contract with a player option this upcoming season that I would really expect him to accept and stay with the Rockets for another season. So we're talking 3 years down the line. That's about where Payton Pritchard was when he won 6th Man of the Year. Reed Sheppard, when we get there, by that time, he could be the starting point guard of the Houston Rockets. Now, again, they were both round 1 picks, but Pritchard was a round 1 26th pick, and Sheppard was the 3rd overall pick. So hopefully the jump for Payton Pritchard will be a little bit quicker than what we saw the jump for Reed Sheppard will be a little bit quicker than what we saw from Payton Pritchard, rather. As you see, Pritchard kind of really slowed through his first 3 seasons. Now, he wasn't playing a lot, 19 minutes his first season, then 14 and 13 in his second and third seasons, averaging 7.7 in his season that he played the most minutes, but then it was about 6 points-ish when you average him out for those 2 seasons. And then we saw the 2023-2024 Boston Celtics, in which they won the NBA championship, 9.6 points. Then this past year, where the Celtics were trying to repeat, he was a rotational player, but a huge rotational player because of how the injuries sorted out with Boston, ended up getting 14.3 points per game. Now again, we go back to the Reed Sheppard stats, and it's a little bit different. 4.4 his first season as compared to Payton Pritchard, who was averaging more minutes, was more of a rotational role player rather than Reed Sheppard. Again, wasn't even that, to be really honest with you. Last year, he was more of just that guy you'd throw in there at the last second. So it's going to be interesting, and the comparisons are, I'm going to say, a fun one for sure. But there's one big difference that I kind of look at, and I said it already, but Reed Sheppard, 6'2", 185, 21 years old at this point, and he was a round 1 pick 3 out of Kentucky. Payton Pritchard, 6'1", 195, so really similar body type. He's 27 now, so go back 4 years, still a little older than Reed Sheppard because he played more years at Oregon. Round 1 pick 26, though. The expectations for Payton Pritchard were to be a role player. Hopefully a good one, but that's what the expectation was. For Reed Sheppard as a round 1 pick 3 on year 2, you are expected as a pick 3 to do what Payton Pritchard has been doing in his past 2 seasons. That is the comparison. And the Rockets have said that. They said, listen, it's an interesting comparison. We get it. But the executives have come out and basically said, hey, he should turn into that. And that's obviously the hope. And now we just kind of get to wait. Now, here is the quote from a Rockets front office executive about this, saying, quote, Pritchard had to prove it to earn his minutes. Same with Reed. We had a tough backcourt to get minutes in last year. This year, there are minutes there for him, if he takes them. Ime doesn't give anyone anything. If you play, it's because you earned his trust and earned that time. Reed did everything we asked, and now he's on his way to earning those rotational minutes, end quote. And we go back to the trade of Cam Whitmore and why Reed Sheppard was kept over Cam. It's because he's doing everything the Rockets asked, whereas we know the problematics that came with Cam Whitmore and his unwillingness to play team basketball. Reed Sheppard has played the aggressive game, which is what the Rockets want to do. That he's developed in the way they've asked him to develop. Now it's time to do it on an NBA level because he is going to play strong minutes that matter to this team in this upcoming year. It's time to prove himself. And as they just stated, the front office executive there, Ime doesn't play you unless you deserve it. So if Reed Sheppard can't get it going, there is a very real possibility that come the trade deadline, Aaron Holiday, Reed Sheppard, somebody is being moved for an extra guard. Now, I just hope that doesn't happen, and Reed Sheppard can come in here and light the world on fire and be great, but that is an option because we know how Ime does it. If you're not good, if you're not earning those minutes, you aren't going to get them. That leads us to our second part and our second update on today's show, and we have to talk about the double big lineup that Houston was running last year. Here is Sleeper Rockets again quoting Kelly Iko saying, after Houston's success with double big lineups in the playoffs, other Western Conference teams essentially hope to duplicate it. Okay, so teams across the league are now trying to scheme a way to basically copy the Houston Rockets. But the bigger report to me, and something that I want to focus on more, because you can try and duplicate what we got, but bigger thing. Houston will likely stagger Adams and Capela to be the second big in these lineups next to Şengün to keep both of them healthy. And that is what separates the Houston Rockets from people trying to duplicate this across the league. We have 3 centers that could be starting centers, and I'm not even joking. Clint Capela is the questionable one, but I believe there's a team in the NBA that he would go start for. Lakers. Either way, it is something to note that they are going to try and keep Capela and Şengün and Adams all healthy. Now we start with Şengün coming out of All-Star season, 19.1 points. He's just turned 23. It's his birthday today. So get in the comment section and type those HBDs for Alperen Şengün. But besides the point, Şengün is going to be a major piece. But the fact is, you have Steven Adams who, when he's on the court, you know the offensive rebounds are going to go your way. In fact, in his years in the NBA, there's only been 1 year in which the team he was with did not get the most offensive rebounds in the entire league. Of the 9 seasons he's played in, 8 times, the team he has been on has led the league in offensive rebounding per game. And 5.6 rebounds per game, pretty good right there, 13.7. He's just 32 years old. His birthday was actually pretty recent. And a .545 field goal percentage. That is very, very good. He has very good defense. He is really an all-around guy. But I believe that 3-year contract was a great deal when you add in the fact that the overpay may have been there. But you're going to be able to pair that with a Clint Capela. And I throw the stats to the right there. Yes, Capela is not the same guy that we know him from his last years in Houston. He's not averaging 16 and 13 points per game anymore. But he's still a defensive threat. He's still a very good rebounder. When you look at his rebounds per game, they have still been pretty solid up until this past season. I mean, he had double-digit rebounds per game for basically 2017 until 2024. Now, this past season, it went down to 8.5. He wasn't playing as many minutes, wasn't playing as many games. And it's going to be the same here, but those rebounds per game are a huge thing. Even at 8.5, I mean, that's still a very good thing to have on your court and helping out this team. So, for that manner, this is going to be the perfect deal because you have both of them locked up and can now keep them both healthy. Because, yes, they are both on the older side. But you have Alperen Şengün, who's, again, 23 years old, and Steven Adams and Clint Capela, who can stagger each other. And the poor NBA finds it so good, this concept so good, that they are going to try and replicate it. Well, I have a stern message for the rest of the NBA. Good luck. Good luck. Let me know a team that has the center depth, the center rotational depth the Houston Rockets have. I'll wait, because there isn't one. There isn't. There's not a team that has even two depth of Alperen Şengün and Steven Adams as good as the Houston Rockets, not to mention a Clint Capela at the center position. The Rockets, this free agency, I'm going to say have made some great moves, but there have also been interesting moves. But at the end of the day, Ime Udoka, Rafael Stone, every time they make a move, they have always had a plan. And it seems that way this season with Steven Adams and Clint Capela. Getting both of them on deals, they have a plan. And so for that, I'm excited to see, and hopefully this plan is a success. So once again, if you think the Rockets are Western Conference Championship bound, I want you to hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 5,000 by the end of the week. But that's what we got for you on today's show. We will see you next time. We appreciate each and every one of you watching. And for now, peace out here from Rockets Digest.